I won't mess about. If you love this channel, if you love this video because maybe you're brand new, I could really use your support on my Patreon. Ad revenue is horrific. I offer tons in return. Please consider checking it out at the top of the video's description, and hopefully I'll be blessed enough to see you over there, helping to keep me on YouTube. Thanks so much. Originally this was an easy 1-win OP, but it just got better and better by leaps and bounds. The music got better, the visuals became more intricate, in the end it landed on 2 big fat wins. If you know me well, you'll know that I absolutely dig when an anime gifts me with a world map like this. Let's go! Anya from Spy Family, Vivi from Vivi Fluoride's Ice Song, and Emporio from the latest JoJo. Back and Go from My Hero Academia doing a completely different voice to normal to his credit. Speedo Wagoner from the original JoJo season. Some absolutely gorgeous visuals from the light to the shadows cast onto the characters and of course the scenery around them. They quite catch the viewer off guard with this. The crew slowly making their way towards the city, chatting about life and such, are here now and clearly hailed as heroes. This for me is probably one of the best uses of CGI I've seen in ages. Seems the studio nailed it for the crowd here. Also though, creating such a huge crowd down below with clearly hand-drawn characters. Reminds me of One Piece. Animating a whole bunch of characters moving within one scene and doing it twice no less. Goodness me, that's like movie quality. Just like with the map, if you know me and the channel, you'll know I love characters sitting around and eating and drinking and talking. Always a favourite of mine to see that bonding. I cannot stress enough how rare it is in today's normal TV series anime to pour so much animation into scenes like this, to breathe life into them. Easy win really. A gorgeous look at the city at night from 2 perspectives. Doing a lot of world building via non-exposition since the episode started, naturally filling us in on the important details via normal chatter. It's nice how already I've winned multiple instances of what look like they came out of classic RPGs. I really like that. I do like how the series is rather serious in its approach as well, as can be seen in this moment. This just makes for a lovely moment by all accounts. They managed to make a lovely moment even more lovely, with also a sad undertone from him, perhaps thinking that he either won't be around in 50 years or won't be able to make the trip. A beautiful look at the city during the day, that's really top notch. The city set design was so well done, had such a nice medieval vibe to it too, like Jobless Reincarnation. Very briefly not walking on the spot. Really setting us up with the notion behind the anime, that being her ability to live for potentially 1,000 years or so, and their lives being so short in comparison. Half the win is for the music sounding awesome, real nice RPG vibe to it, but also how we see the seasons pass by so quickly, telling us how much time has gone by roughly. Putting what looks like actual writing into this book and not just scribbles. Getting a lovely and fully animated montage of all of the adventures she's been up to since leaving the group. They can have 2 wins here, firstly because it's the same guy as during the montage, but who is now much older, but also because they could have just left it at that, but instead made the shop's equipment and wares look entirely different.
50年ぶりだね。 君は昔の姿のままだ。
Oh, he's grown so small and old now, and I won't lie, this kind of thing often hits me in the heart in anime, so just be warned, there might be some tears down the road. A real sweet moment that basically tells of the difference between a human and an elf. Something like this was a small matter to her 50 years ago, but to him, it meant a lot to hold it for her. Getting to see the statue they made 50 years ago for the first time. Oh, it's so sweet getting to see them meet back up with these two as well. Feels odd, as it's only not even half an episode yet, but it really does feel like old friends being back together again.
こうしていると、あの時に戻ったかのようだ。
Jeez, like 10 minutes in and I'm misty-eyed already. At least I warned you from win number 29. Two wins here again. Firstly, it's because it's like they're going on another adventure again, which they are really, so that must be so nice for these two older men especially. But also because the animation on her using magic was stunningly good looking too. Oh, that's really nice. I feared he might not make it to see the sight, so I'm very happy to see that he did. Very win-worthy. Just over half an episode and they got the first tears out of me. That's seriously well done.
悲しい顔一つしないなんて。
おやおや、私たちもしていませんよ。
Half the win is for them sticking up for her, and the other half is because this may be the first time she's understanding that there may be a feeling of guilt at not feeling sad here. Strange win, I'll grant you, but it just feels as though everything is in proportion. The city is like a real one, laid out perfectly. It all makes sense where everything is located, if you know what I mean.
たった10年一緒に旅しただけだし。
Not only is it a beautiful moment as he walks away into the light symbolically, but she sheds the first tears for her lost friend.
なんでもっと知ろうと思わなかったんだろう。
Totally got me going again. It's well done and does deserve wins for it. It's a little long to show, but we get a scene of Haita discussing his own coming demise as he gets older and his drinking catches up to him, but he discusses life after death. An interesting bit of lore. It's sad here as well, to be honest, as she invites him along and he basically says he's too old for that now, which I didn't think would be the case, but yeah, he's too old now as well. This beautiful scene as she departs the outskirts of the city once again, alone, but also how lore is added without officially being added, like this road sign. No idea what it is, but it's there. Very interesting to have now jumped ahead a massive 20 years into the future.
かっこよく死ぬのも難しいものですな。
Feels so odd, but it warms my heart to see that 20 years on, he's still alive, now retired to the forest seemingly. Well, she's absolutely adorable.
フェルンには魔法使いとしての素質があります。あなたの旅に連れて行ってくれませんか。
友人から預かった子を七に送るつもりはないよ。
Between this and their earlier conversations, this world shows it has a dark side, war in the south, adventurers not yet suited for battle, losing their lives easily. This isn't some happy world.
この魔導書には今は失われた死者の蘇生や不死の魔法が記されているとされています。
God, I love it when a story just throws tasty lore at my face like this. Putting in what can only really be described as an awesome amount of detail into this book.
もう一つは前より死ぬのが怖くなったから。
There's a real inherent sadness in the notion of an old man, now near the end of his life, wanting more time than anything in the world. He's afraid to die. Another weird win, but the most I've ever seen a character be affected by their environment, physically speaking. Twig in her hair, trips a little, climbing through it. I like those details.
And you alright? Can you hear me?
Easily and without a doubt one of the most unique and visually fantastic looking EDs I've had the pleasure to watch in a long time now. That was stunningly good looking and is thus 2 max wins. What is this, Food Wars with the food looking so good? This is now the second montage in a row where the studio has animated the whole thing from start to finish. Great dedication!
常人なら10年かかる道を4年で越えた。あの子は打ち込みすぎだ。あまりいいことじゃない。
A good example of the very clever ways in which they tell us about how much time has passed, but in very organic ways.
この魔導書だけど多分。
My god, this anime doesn't seem to want to give me a break. But what I also felt saddened about is that it felt as though he was holding on as long as he could for her to become a mage.
そんな顔をしないでください。
The weather effects externally and internally sound incredible, like Danmachi levels of quality.
今はいずれではダメなのです。いずれではハイター様が死んでしまう。
It's interesting how time as a storytelling element is also used or reflected in characters other than Frieren, like here. Two wins yet again. Firstly, it's good to see her background so early on, learning more about her. Secondly, because it's good to see an example of the war that was mentioned, but also how amazing the ruined town itself looked.
あなたの中にも大切な思い出があるとすれば、死ぬのはもったいないと思います。
Too long to show, but his speech to her here that saved her life. It's nice knowing that his friend imparted so much upon him after his death that it made him think about his own life in passing.
死者の蘇生も不死の魔法も書かれていなかったよ。
そうですか。そうですか。間に合いましたか。
わかったな、ハイター。
I thought as much. I really liked that. He knew it wouldn't contain the secrets to eternal life. He wanted her to stay and train her, and she did that, and he held on long enough for it to happen.
私はあの子にこれ以上誰かを失うような経験をさせたくないのです。
It's a sad but really beautiful thing that he can feel his end, and he doesn't want her to have to experience that, having lost her parents already to war, and him being all she has in the world.
お前が死ぬまでにやるべきことは、あの子にしっかりと別れを告げて、なるべくたくさんの思い出を作ってやることだ。
Such a sweet moment as she again tears up, but there's always a hidden beautiful element behind these things too. It's not just that he's passing, it's that in this moment he hasn't said goodbye.
ねえ、なんでフェルンを救ったの？
勇者ヒンメルならそうしました。
That's why I meant a few wins back about him being inspired by the younger years of his great, now lost friend. But it's also just good to see bits and pieces like this of their histories. I'll never grow tired of these visuals. It for me is what true art is.
この生臭坊主に。
Take a win gladly in his honor. It was really lovely getting to know him, to be honest.
報酬は何だったのですか？民間魔法。温かいお茶が出てくる魔法だって。後で実験しよう。
Might be the first anime I've seen to take this interesting approach that a job is sometimes paid in things wildly different to just money. The realism behind one of the great heroes of this world having more than one single statue in one city. The awesome looking art style change from whatever creature that is. Now that is what I was talking about earlier. So good to find moments where we go back in time to see more of these heroes.
必死に戦ってくれたのに、こんな仕打ちはあまりにもかわいそうだわ。
Also, though, showing us and not telling us that this was the small girl from all that time ago.
知らない。見たことないから。ではなぜ？ヒンメルの故郷の花だ。
There's so many sweet moments and memories in this one. Clearly he mentioned the flowers once and she recalled it here.
森へ返します。
Being nice to animals is always a win. Oh my goodness, it's a double being nice to animals is always a win. That's a first. The third time now that this absolute legend of the studio has decided to do a fully 100% animated montage when they could easily have ran music over still images. These little moments of serene calm and beauty are just exquisite to me.
フリーレン様は多くの人を救える力を持った魔法使いです。 ありもしないもののために時間を使うだなんて。
Another interesting point is brought up here about how she chooses to spend her time. Even though I'm sure she's doing it for her lost friend, I can see it from her human point of view also.
心配させてしまったね。私一人の時間ってわけでもない。
Double wins again. First up, how she clearly learnt this from humans and is now doing it to them. That's very sweet. But also how she learned a lesson here, that it's not just her life she's spending, but Fern's also. Small win, but how magic is ingrained in this world so much that it can take the form of something simple like this, or great spells, like what punctured the stone out of Fern's old home. Really made me smile deeply to see another moment from the past, in this one where she restored life and colour to a desolate area, and how it positively affected everyone on the team.
私の集めた魔法を褒めてくれたバカがいた。それだけだよ。
Learning that part of the reason why she lives the life she currently does is because he complimented her back then, and she maybe saw how the small magics can make such a big difference. This music sounding like something out of The Witcher 3 to me from the islands.
フリーレン、いつか君に見せてあげたい。
One of those wins where all I need to say is one word. Beautiful.
でも魔法を選んだ。そうですね。
Literally the same win as the last one. My god, this anime doesn't half have some amazing moments in it that I won't soon forget. Her returning the same favour all those years later. Kicking us off with an awesome looking visual of a port town.
じゃあ手分けして旅の物資を補充しようか。手分けって必需品ほぼ私ですよね。
Getting to see her slowly getting older, but also the realism behind the gathering of supplies when you can. Not content on just giving us the first few at the start, we get this one too. Oh, she's so kind and adorable. 3 times now.
荒くれのくせに詳しいんだ。
スイーツは俺たち冒険者の活力だからな。あばよ。
I so love how they took a total trope in these kinds of anime and turned it on its head. They do look scary, but they really do know a lot about tasty desserts. Animating them moving through the scene when they really didn't have to.
たまには甘いものでも食べに行こうか。
Bless her heart, Fern thought it was something she was doing alone, but she really wanted them both to go. I swear at this rate, this anime will overtake Jobless Reincarnation for the most stunning looking and unique view of houses and villages, towns and cities and everything else. I'm blown away.
今日の気分はメルクーアプリンだろう。
なんでわかるの？
なんとなくわかるさ。
These times really mean a lot to me, and they're perfectly peppered throughout the episodes thus far, just enough to always keep them in our minds.
フェルンのこと何もわからない。だからどんなものが好きなのかわからなくて。ありがとうございます。とても嬉しいです。
Oh my goodness, she just gets more and more sweet as we find out she was buying this for her, and that's why she struggled to pick it out so much.
防御魔法もだいぶ慣れてきたね。
Just like Jobless Reincarnation, the music is done so well in this anime that I just enjoy seeing it used like here.
腐敗の堅牢クバール。80年前にこの地で悪逆の限りを尽くした魔族です。
Effortlessly expanding the lore all the time, like it's no big deal whatsoever, and I for one am such a big fan of that. During these times of anime, I want to consume all the lore. It's great the difference to me between a town inn where they went to get desserts and a small little village inn like this and how it's shown.
ゾルトラーク。奴の開発した史上初の貫通魔法。
They're even going so far as to give us magic related lore. What is this Mob Psycho 100 with all these art style changes?
久しいのフリーレン。何年経った。
The hilarious Beldia from Konosuba and King from One Punch Man. This is so sick. It's like magic in this world is the same as tech in ours. Whilst he was locked away, they studied and mastered his magic and then came up with counters to it, so it's outdated now.
消費もさぞ辛かろう。
a very rare anime indeed that can make me as hyped for a magic related battle as Swords and Shields. It looked so good with what looks to be hand-done magic that it gets max wins. Take one more as well for her powerful finishing move that just utterly wrecked him.
お前、私のスカートめくったクソガキだな。
So random, but it's another excellent memory of the past, so it still gets a win.
よくわかりませんが、ヒンメル様はフリーレン様を信じていたのだと思いますよ。どうしたのですか？
別に。
I think sometimes she really appreciates the human element to having her around and how she sees things from other humans' perspectives, and it just made her happy here. Once again, totally different looking location to anything before it. It's actually kind of adorable to see this entire side to her. Not running on the not being bothered to work spot.
清掃は順調ですかな？
あと3分の1ってところかな。
Seeing yet another completely different end to every other one we've seen to date. But also, Japanese voice actress has taken the job so seriously she probably literally had food in her mouth when she did this. Here's the deal, you want to keep on giving me fully animated and gorgeous looking montages and I'll give you wins in return. Let's go! It never ceases to amaze me that the studio is basically choosing the most difficult way to animate pretty much everything.
ただの日の出でしょ。楽しめるとは思えないけど。
いいや、楽しめるね。君はそういうやつだからだ。
So wholesome that these events from the past changed her very slowly as a person, and so she lives large swaths of her life now experiencing what they wanted her to, or doing the small things.
ありがとう、フェルン。
I'm very happy that she thanked her for making sure that she saw this through, because it was important to her.
私一人じゃこの日の出は見れなかったな。
And there it is, she was able to derive joy out of the experience because Fern was with her, and if she had gone 80 odd years ago with them, the same would likely have been true then.
アイゼン、遊びに来たよ。
30年ぶりとは思えん態度だな。
These two finally meeting up again, the last of the old crew, and he's already looking more frail now, especially when you see him pray in the past and now in the present. Getting to see the difference right away between all of the human homes and inns, and now his home as a dwarf. The attention to detail of the library, its books, and then the map as he figured things out all that time ago.
まあ、時間なんていくらでもあるのか。
でもフェルンが嫌がるから早めに終わらせようか。
This! Perhaps she knows Fern better than she thinks she does. Dropping one because it was legit so nice to see him do something requiring so much strength at his age.
1000年も前のことなのに、結局私は先生の手のひらの上か。
Finding out her age and also getting to learn a little bit more about her in the process via this statement.
こいつが成長すれば1000年だろうがこの場所を守り続ける。
その頃には先生死んでるでしょ。
Also here seeing her old master, the first other elf we have actually seen. Kawaii! I just love getting to see the changes in the area from 1000 years ago to now. What a treat! Damn, they do scenes like this so well it's not even funny, is it?
この世界の人々が天国と呼ぶ場所。そこは多くの魂が集まる場所で、私はかつての戦友たちと対話した。
I mean, it's early on, but I'm already getting lore vibes slowly becoming equal to the likes of The Lord of the Rings with things like this. It just seems so deep and expansive already. So impressive.
エンデって。
今は魔王城がある場所だ。
I wrote the last win, and then, just like that, they drop even more lore on us like it's nothing, and it all looks so damn good. As if giving me multiple maps wasn't good enough already, they're like, let's 3D one up for him.
なんだか気まずい。フリーレン様。
The realism of her not knowing the dwarf, not having much to talk about, and so feeling uncomfortable like this.
旅は話し相手がいた方がいい。
いろいろ教えてもすぐ死んじゃうでしょ。
These clear instances where he can see how much she has changed as a person over the years.
まんな、長い旅路になる。俺たちは10年かかった。
They're saying goodbye to one another. I hope we get to see more of him again one day, and also the notion that whilst their journey may not take 10 years, it won't be quick by any means.
私の人生では2分の1ですから、フリーレン様と過ごした時間です。
This puts things into perspective really. An incredible amount of time, but I liked that smile from her too. She's clearly happy about it.
ハイター様、私が悪い子になれば化けて出てきてくれるのですか？
Firstly, this music. This anime has some bloody brilliant sounding tracks thus far. But also this lovely scene, almost sounding as though she would be naughty, as it were, so that he'd visit her when he's gone. That's really lovely and sad, to be honest.
あなたがいい子でいたら、少しくらいなら化けて出てあげてもいいかもしれません。
Oh, how he turned it around at the end and how proud he was of her intelligence. It's another gorgeous looking town from a distance and then up close, like it's no big deal.
幽霊の見た目ってわかる？
そこまではね。気になるなら直接聞いてみたらどうだい？
Right away, this reminded me of The Witcher 3 as well, hearing stories of ghosts and people going missing, and so she says, maybe go talk to those who witnessed it. I love it!
アンデッドは魔法で操られた死体の総称だからね。
This is like with unique looking boats in One Piece that I'm covering all of right now. Check that out if you're a fan and haven't seen it yet. But anyway, new wins equal new wins, let's go!
困っていました。
ヒンメルたちみたいなこと言うね。
私はフリーレン様とは違っていい子なので。
That was funny from her at the end there, but mostly I liked how she smiled when comparing her to her old crew. If this keeps up, it'll be the #1 anime in the history of anime wins, where characters are animated properly, painstakingly, through pretty much every single scene.
その種の魔物の中でも狡猾で貪欲で人しか捕食しない変色家。
As the story unfolds further, it really is becoming more and more akin to The Witcher 3 in my mind. By the way, I've played it 4 times, it's one of, if not my favourite game ever, hence mentioning it like this.
少しだけ化けて出ることにしました。
Damn man, that's tricky! You can see how that'd be really difficult for her to follow through with attacking more.
私も少しは変わっているってことかな。
I'm glad she brought this up, as it hadn't occurred to me that perhaps it does show whatever is most important to you in your heart at that point in time. Goodness me, she didn't mess around with that blast, huh? How all these monsters so far have looked totally unique to one another. Very creepy, this one. Speaking of unique looking monsters...
仕方がない。逃げるよ。
Another thing I like about this story is that it's not always the case that she knows what she's doing or is all-powerful. Like, she really didn't expect the dragon to be unharmed by her attack.
俺の弟子なんだ。
いい戦士なの？
It's pretty cool how the dude they're going to collect for their party and the trip north is actually his apprentice. The lore expansion and building might be one of the best I've seen, to be honest. New towns already being visited, totally unique in their visuals, stories being told within those locations too, and more. I really find myself appreciating when studios give me art changes like this.
シュタルク、魔物との戦闘経験は？
ゼロだよ！助けてくれよ、フリーレン！
Epic plot twist all of a sudden, and at the same time making for a way more interesting coming series of events than if he was just a tough warrior guy.
なぜかその後、竜が村を襲わなくなって英雄扱い。
The excellent way this story is told and animated. It's so good.
だからあいつには俺の全てを叩き込んだ。今のあいつは誰かのために戦えるやつだ。
Trust this great story to give us unique and compelling characters. He's a coward, or was. He ran from his village when it was attacked, but so did he one time in his life. So he took him under his wing. brilliant and smooth looking visuals there, and you can see why she was happy for him to come along after inspecting the wall behind where he was seated. She knew he'd done that.
この村の英雄シュタルクなんだ。俺が守らなきゃならないんだよ。
And there we have it already. His reason for staying there in spite of his fear is that the villagers are happy that he's there and the dragon isn't. He's a good man.
シュタルク様は逃げないと思います。
A good deal is said without saying anything in this one. She looks at his hands, the damage to them signifying the obsession with getting better and being more brave. He won't run now.
魔物と初めて戦った時です。修行はそれまでに十分すぎるほど積んできました。
Alone already, that is super creepy, but just as in a prior win, very unique to say the least.
体が動いたのです。
Those visuals, not only on the magic attacks themselves, but how the scene is pictured to make the most out of it.
竜と追いかけっこだ。
How these moments are handled to truly make the most out of the comedy element.
なぜ村の人たちのためにそこまでするの？
俺はこの村に3年もいたんだぜ。
短いね。
超長えよ。
I'll write and describe this. The story is multifaceted. It doesn't rely on the single storytelling trope that's unique to it. The author expanded upon it, how her perspective differs from humans. Okay, that's unreal. Hands down the most unique looking monster in all of the episodes to date.
師匠も怖かったんだな。
Showing this because of the build-up, the music, but also because in today's day and age, almost no one does monsters like this without CGI anymore. It's one of those very, very rare moments where the anime scores back-to-back max wins right here. Firstly, this scene. The art style changes drastically, the music intensifies, all hand done. Not to be outdone, perhaps by another animator entirely, the scene of his running through the damage around him is clean and crisp and fluid as anything. Block style damage that I love. Beautiful!
強い相手に自分から喧嘩を売りに行くようなバカじゃない。
A stunningly good-looking 5-second long continuous motion shot where it never cuts away.
かわいそうなことをしてしまった。怖かったんだ。俺は怖かったんだよ。フリーレン。
Learning why he hit him, the guilt he felt, the sadness in the music, but most of all, the fact that he did it because he was afraid of his strength. That shocked me. Another 2 max wins there. It's stylistically speaking one of the best animated battles I've seen in the past couple years. It's absolutely of the same quality of the heights of Jujutsu Kaisen and others. Wow!
言われた通りにやっただろ。
もう死んでいるよ。
Him complaining in the distance that she's not going to help him fight, only to find out it's already over.
シュタルク、よくやった。期待以上だ。偉いぞ。
Was nice to hear some genuine praise from her. She keeps on showing how much she's grown and is still growing.
人類最強と言われた南の勇者も魔王直下の七宝剣に撃たれた。
Dropping some seriously tasty lore on us from 80 odd years ago during the first adventure. By the way, not counting street level shots, they showed about 3 totally different angles of this same town. It's almost getting silly at this point, but the best kind of silly, the kind of silly you want to silly over, you know? I dig this so much, it's not even funny, dude.
いいな冒険者ども、この町でくれぐれも問題は起こすなよ。
It's very rare that someone who acted like that to the heroes is considered a good guy, because he's maintaining order and first and foremost looking out for the people of this actual town. I like that.
飯でも食いに行く？うん、一人で行くね。
How these two aren't the best of friends right out the gate, but also how hilariously that's being brought across. How's it look so good and so real though? And here's that short human lifespan element at play once again, and this time it's being used as a bonding mechanic for these two.
大丈夫。俺って結構強そうに見えるし、はったりもうまいんだぜ。
I like this guy a lot already. Not only do we see multiple areas of this town which look quite nice, but also the most seedy and rundown areas too.
私以上に必死なように見えます。
まあ、あまり時間がないからな。ここ、いい景色だろ。
He's clearly got a secret, but they get a win for not beating us over the head with it. It's just lightly put out there and then moved on from for later. This damn view, man! Come on, that's so good!
普段は自分のことを何も話さないくせに、勇者一行の冒険を楽しそうに語ったんだ。
I truly love these little moments of memory shared between them all. It means a lot to me in some strange and deep, meaningful way.
くだらなくて楽しい旅をたくさん経験して、土産話をたっぷりと持って帰らないとダメなんだ。
That's what I'm talking about in the last win. It's meaningful. It actually means something. It's not just a skin-deep adventure to save the world. It's about life and friendship and camaraderie.
あんまりのんびりしていると、師匠が死んじまうんだ。
Oh, take another for that. That's the main reason now fully revealed. He wants to tell him the story before he's gone.
あ。
申し訳ありませんでした。フリーレン様、どうかお許しください。
This guy has now been involved with two unique events that anime don't normally do. She thought he was after her, yeah he was, to apologize.
北側諸国は今、魔王軍の残党との紛争が絶えないと聞きます。
So much tasty lore, and unlike some lesser anime, they don't flood us with it. It's just drizzled onto the dish that is this anime here and there. Too much lore is unhealthy after all. So many food metaphors.
こんなに簡単に通れるだなんて、初めからフリーレン様の名前を出していればよかったんじゃないですか。
She raises another anti-anime win here. Usually if they can't get through, they conspire to find a way through. They'll do so, but they just failed and ended up getting through this way. I love it.
あったんだな。
So weird. Such a small thing, yet it brought a tear to my eye as I smiled. They're together as a proper crew now, just like they were all those years past.
フリーレン様が早起きしてる。
それ、すごいことなの？
当たり前です。
That awesome reaction to her waking up early for once.
こういう時はしっかり褒めないと。
They really do handle comedy so well in this one. It's surprising. Is there nothing you cannot do well? Realism is added to the whole humans versus demons war that's going on here by mentioning how the landslide they just cleared was likely caused by a fight between the groups.
そのシュタルク様ってのやめない？
シュタルク、さっさとこっち手伝って。早く。
タメ口！
There's that comedy on display again. She turned so quickly. I love it.
緩やかに絶滅していってるんだよ。最後に同族と会ったのも400年以上前だし。
They don't delve too much into it, but it's worth a win to learn a bit why she's the only elf we've seen so far. What, you thought I wouldn't follow through on my threat for a win every time I see a gorgeous new settlement? Egg on your face!
この地域を支配していた魔族を討伐してくださった日です。
Not only did visually that look very impressive with the whole zoom out to show the whole crew motion, but it's another creature. Genuinely unexpected art style change again. Look at that! For context, it starts as a joke, he wants everyone to see statues of how handsome he was, but evolves into him saying this. It's so she won't be alone in the future. If true, that's wholesome as hell. Quit trying to call my bluff! Going first person through the streets this time like it's no big deal.
魔族だ。
Oh, heck yes! Talk about further elevate the story. It was already brilliant, and now it gets better. Demons are among humans, but they seem happy with it, oddly enough.
グラナト伯爵、あなたの差し金ですか？
Eraserhead from My Hero Academia, Yami from Black Clover, and McBurn from the Trails games, and about 100 different other awesome roles.
後で魔導書の差し入れ持ってきて。
フリーレン様は本当に時間を無駄にするのが好きですね。
They really nailed it when someone said she talks so calmly but looks so violent, and you can see it in her eyes here. So good, I think, how the world isn't totally at peace. Everyone worships the heroes. Instead, they're somewhat forgotten to a degree, and this demon is back in power. They're fighting again. It's great.
勇者様、早くとどめを。
まだ子供だ。
償う機会を与えてやってもいいじゃないか。
ふざけないで。
「
なぜ村長を殺した？
Absolutely brilliant scene that perfectly describes not only why humanity shouldn't trust or work with demons, but also because it showed how their minds worked. She thought this was a good thing to do. I think a rotating shot was just about the only thing they hadn't done in this anime. Now it's done. Won't show it directly, but easy win for how quickly he lopped her arm off, grabbing the child at the same time. He was a true hero in strength and spirit, clearly.
なのに、なんでお母さんなんて言葉を使うの？だって、殺せなくなるでしょ。
And there it is. It worked at the time, and something similar is working again in the present, and once more they're falling for it. God, this storytelling is so clever. Can I just say, the fact that they give us so many different views of the different towns is so damn impressive to me. Putting what genuinely looks like old tiny portraits into these picture frames.
帰ってきたのはこの件だけだ。
Unexpected plot twist. Turns out his son was taken out by demons 10 years back. This is not a drill.
私もあなた方に殺された父上の部屋はそのままにしてあります。
父上って何？
なんだろうね。
And here he is, literally doing what she described earlier on. It's just taken on more sophistication now.
お前を殺しに来た。
そう。外交ごっこはもう終わり。
The story gets better and better all the time. I'm so tense now.
俺よりもか？
断頭台のアウラよりも。
And take a final win here for episode 7 for this ending. She says she's stronger than even his boss's boss. Let's continue to go. I'm dangerously hyped. That'll do it for this one, ladies and gents. Please, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to not miss the second quarter. I can also desperately use any and all Patreon support if you're willing. Link is down below if you want to take a gander, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Maybe next week. We shall see how this video performs. Thanks for watching. Darth Weirdo, Mal Liao, Nick Wyndham, The Elementator Wars, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Minimasher, Marquez, Nazomi, Orkeeper, Otter A. Bodanisi, Steelers, The Epicommander, Bird Without a Word, Brandon Creer, Brian Bayot, Cameron, Christian Tuasa, Commander Chris, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Aaron Winters, Guru, I Am Here, James Tafoya, Yor Edvinson, Kevin Elston, Cumfoik, Kylie Wub, Lisa Marie Timp, Luis Minito, Magnus, Mr. Mansu, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Ruby Rose, Satakayari, Zion 44, Sean, The 100s, Tiger Lily Warrior, Sumibito, A Joker, Alexander Schwartz, Ali 50, Amadillo, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dante Soul, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Def the Kid 123, Devon, Dragon Defender, Esso, Garrett Vermish, Gibbs, Hoof to Lowe's Ritter, Israel Caldera, Jason Davies, John, Juffa 6263, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevink 102, Knuckle Duster, Kai 158, Kyle Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gagati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Matthew Blunsett, Michael Lewis, Modiverum, Monty, Mudini, Mr. Firecool, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, 1928, Ollie the Mighty, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Oscar I. Lopez, Owen Halloran, Q Flash, Ryan DeVries, Sarcastic Truth, Snow, Stan, Storm 970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Thrasher 340, Vernon Hogan, Will Sass, Willy Man.